Rhune straddles the border between France and Spain, so Venta, it's very Spanish, isn't it? La Rungo, tapas, and you've got the very much French influence as well. I mean, it's so awesome to be here at a place like this, right? I could be so disappointed right now because I'm not seeing the view, and instead I'm getting like this amazing experience up in the clouds. It's a bit like phantoms in the mist. It's brilliant. Hey, good morning. Thanks for joining me. Morning walk episode 67. Coming to you today from the top of La Rhune, which is the highest point in the southwest of France, or kind of like northern part of Spain. Nestled between the Pyrenees Mountains and the spectacular Atlantic Ocean out there somewhere. I've just run up this big bastard of a hill, hoping to get a great view. I guess it's sometimes like that. Oh man. There's also something interesting and somewhat random about La Rhune as well. It's actually a railway line that runs to the top. Like a little train that leaves from about a hilltop down below, about 300, 400 vertical meters above sea level. And then runs up this very steep track. As you can see, it's got like this big gauge, teethed piece of steel, a wheel cog underneath that runs to make sure the thing doesn't slip backwards. It's pretty steep. Pretty safe right now from the train because the first one only leaves the station down below from the Col at 9 AM. It's going to take at least 20 minutes, 25 minutes to get all the way up to here. So it's only 9 AM now. I've still got plenty of time to get to the top without any worries. Let's get going. This is actually something quite beautiful that most people just walk past day to day, but here on this rock, you can see these amazing lichens and mosses. And actually, like this entire rock face, even though you might not be able to make it out so well, it's completely covered by living organisms. Even like the black and the grey, dark grey, light grey, as well as the green, they're all lichens. And lichens, like mosses, are the most incredibly adapted organisms. Basically, like they can remain dormant for years, decades, I think maybe even centuries. Incredibly slow growing. So what you're looking here on this rock is probably like, decades, if not centuries worth of lichen growth. Basically, they just sit there all shriveled up and dried until they get some moisture. And as soon as they've got some moisture, that's when they kind of like spring back to life and start to grow again. So absolutely spectacular. Something that you just don't think about when you're climbing a big fucking mountain. It's obviously like a super popular place to come running. You can see there's tons of hikers, randonneurs, they call them French randonneurs, and trail runners coming up from the bottom. And it was sunny at the bottom when I left this morning. Of course, up here, it's not quite the case. Although, probably not too far from the top of the cloud base. Top of the cloud today. You can see the sun's almost pushing through and we're getting little hints of blue sky. So it's probably just one of those days where I've only missed out on the view by, I don't know, by a little bit, 100 meters of cloud. Look at this snail. That's just absolutely ballistic. Isn't that the most awesome snail? Like its shell is this bright yellow. I wonder if this thing's toxic. Let's just say I'm not going to try eating it, just in case. That's beautiful. You don't see something like that in Australia. Be free, young man or woman. Rhune is the highest part of the GR10, which is long distance hiking trail in the south of France. The French have this incredible system of creating long distance walks. The GR10 literally runs from the Atlantic Ocean on the west coast to the Mediterranean Sea on the east. It's like, I don't know, 1,000 kilometers long, all on really well marked, maintained trails, which is pretty spectacular. If you want to hear more about that, then check out the last episode, episode 66 of the morning walk. So I'll talk all about it there. There is such a good lesson in this morning. You know, I got up early in order to run up this mountain, hoping to have a spectacular view, but also just looking forward to like a big run, going up and like burning legs, trail running, just being out in the fresh air. And that's the whole point, isn't it? Like if I was only worried about the end point, the destination, God, I'd be disappointed this morning. Whereas it's been a brilliant morning where, yeah, it just happens to be that the end point tends to be foggy, can't see anything. It's got to be about the journey. You've really just got to be making it all about the journey and making sure you're enjoying every moment of climbing up that big mountain. So all you're focused on is, you know, the last step, literally the last, I don't know, 10 meters to the summit, climbing your way up to the highest point, hoping to look out and check out some sort of spectacular view, and it's not there. Gee, you're probably just going to be as miserable as fuck. And what a disappointment when the whole way up you could have just been enjoying the journey. It's got to be about the journey. You've just got to focus on the journey and making sure that every moment of it is the best that it can possibly be. You know, the only way for everything to be truly okay is for you to be okay with everything. And I really believe that that just means focusing on the journey and not just these arbitrary endpoints that we set for ourselves, like the high summits that we're supposed to achieve, whether that's like finishing school or finishing a degree or getting a job or, you know, saving up for some sort of trip. Like, yeah, all those things are good, but if you're too focused on that endpoint, you're going to miss so many wonderful moments, you know, like the sun cutting through the cloud, because you're just thinking about something that's off in the future that may not actually arrive at all. You know, next year I'm going to be taking 6 or 7 months off to do a big trip around Australia with my family, which is an amazing high, right? An incredible endpoint, something so look forward to. But imagine if I spent like the next 12 months, you know, prepping for that trip, thinking about that trip, getting excited about that trip, and then for some reason, like, the trip couldn't happen. I would have like literally wasted a year of amazing moments by just not focusing on the journey rather than the end point. So you got to be okay with everything, for everything to be okay. That's the journey. Down there, that's where I'm heading. Look, hard question, right? How do you become okay with everything? In order for everything to be okay. And honestly, like, biggest thing for me in the last 18 months has been getting into a bit of meditation using the app called Calm. 10 minutes a day, so easy, but just really helps you focus on staying present and focusing on the now, not what's happening in an hour or a day or a week, but just continually bringing you back to the present, which is critical. Now, it's not to say that like having long-term goals isn't important. Of course it is, because that makes sure that you get where you want to go. But in terms of actually taking those micro steps, focusing on the journey, meditation's amazing. Job done. And what an epic little morning. Like, no, I didn't get my beautiful shot for Instagram at the top of Rhune with a magnificent view of the surrounding regions. But like, who cares? It's been a beautiful morning, amazing run going up a mountain, awesome plummeting descent. The journey has been incredible, and that's really what actually matters. So everything will be okay when you're okay with everything. Always focus on the journey and not just the end point. Anyway, whatever you're getting up to today, I hope it's a great one. I'm Rob Malicki. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time on The Morning Walk.